We kind of went into this new show experience not really knowing what to expect, and the audition process was pretty different because we came up to the room and we basically just told a story, and from that our stories and our words were used later on to make messages in the show. Over the summer, after we received the cast list, we had to answer questions about good counsel and the good counsel life and how we viewed different aspects of good counsel. And coming into the audition process, when we really started to move the gears to create a show, we made these moments that didn't exist.
It was important for me to see how effective they were at communicating the emotional reality of a teenager in 2018 in a way that was empathetic, humorous, and engaging without being overly angsty.
So with Unmasked, I was the production stage manager, but within Unmasked, we all kind of were able to create our own scenes. And the thing I really liked about doing that was being able to actually create something, because usually as a stage manager, you're just, doing all the simple tasks just to make sure everything's going right and making sure that everybody's here and there, but being able to actually create my own idea and put it on stage or be able to add things in was really fun.
We were trying to empower the students so that they were in artistic control, and we were trying to work on the theory that the students would actually experience the process, that they weren't simply being instructed, they weren't being told what to do. We were trying to direct them so that they stayed on task and were moving towards a finished piece.
So Unmasked was definitely a different designing experience. At Miss Friesian, when we usually do pieces, we'll have a theme or an idea or something to work in, and that gives a design perspective. In Unmasked specifically, it was more about honoring company, more about honoring our general, what are we trying to get out of this, more than what are we trying to put on stage. That was a very different question. And how do I, as a designer, someone who knows, in my instance, how to light lights, how do I service the troupe, the actors? And that was definitely a big design question that had to be answered a lot of the time.
Once it became apparent from the moment work that the piece was going to be set at Good Counsel High School, we worked by asking the students to actually go out and observe things that they see every day. Both the designers and the students they talked to, everyone immediately picked up on the fact that there's a massive staircase in the middle of the school, and how the students move through the space, move through their physical environment as they go up and down that staircase all day. So obviously, the set designers started from the idea that somehow we have to incorporate a staircase.
It was such an evolving piece. It was maybe it's fighting a war. The information is constantly changing, and you're constantly changing your plans, and then you're going this way and you're going that way, and you're like, nope, we're going to do this now, we're going to do that now, and it's like going to a buffet. You get all this stuff, and you're a designer, and you're looking at it, and you're so happy, and it's great, and you're like, I can't use all of this, it's too much, and it's picking out what is really going to be worth the calories.
The way she created scenes was just insane. I would never think that a jacket could become a puppet, or a piece of, a hat could be a lamp. The way she just created scenes with those really inspired me and other students to create our own scenes like those.
We used different props, different sounds, different movement, even before we used words to kind of create scenes.
In order to devise Unmasked, we worked collaboratively through the devising method moment work.
Congratulations. You made St. Mary's Scholars.
No, we don't
Nope.
start the pattern until after congratulations, St. Mary's Scholars. So rewind a little bit.
For Unmasked, what it ended up being was a group of students and a director working alongside of each other collaboratively, giving feedback and advice on everything.
What's the name of this moment?
Moment college application.
College applications.
The way that we created Unmasked was about our school, and Ms. Friesen really showed off the insides of what our school is.
We kind of started with basically nothing, and a week before school started, we all came together and we started figuring out our own guidelines and kind of starting to flesh out how we were going to do this.
It took a very long time because when we auditioned for the play, it was what can we do to make a difference? And from there, we started implementing these ideas and coming up with moments.
These scenes were written down to be kind of added onto in the future.
There were a lot of group discussions. Some of them were more uncomfortable than others, but it was all part of a process that made us closer as a company and made this show the success that it was.
My role in the project was to act as a consultant, and I visited about 3 or 4 times with the entire company, and we went through a series of exercises in which the students were able to think about their own positionality and status within society, to think about what identity markers were most salient to them and why, and also try to build empathy across differences and try to understand where other people within the theater company might be coming from in terms of what their priorities were and what identity markers were most salient to them.
Moments say diversity. You know, the moments were created based on experiences of the students in the cast.
We all went out and we interviewed different people from the school, and we used their words and kind of sat down and thought, like, how could these words and these moments be put together to make actual scenes?
We went out, we started interviewing people for their experiences at Good Counsel and what we were trying to show and put forth for our community. Then we took parts of those interviews and we started slowly but surely creating our moments.
And that's when we made a script and we made scenes and we kind of put this show together from like the ground up. I really liked the interview process because it was like different. It gave us like script in a way that I never thought like we could use someone's words. This really taught me to trust the process a lot. You have to trust a lot when you go into this, because I remember me and some of the other castmates were really going into this like, this seems insane. Like, we've never seen this before, we've never done this before, so it was like something super new. And even at times when you were like, this is going to end up really bad, this is going to be a hot mess, like, you just keep on trusting it, and every day in rehearsal things will build up, and slowly or quickly one day things can look amazing, and then another day you go to a different part of the show and you're like, oh my god, like, this looks insane. But like, really, if you just like trust the process and you just keep on working hard, you'll get to where you want to be.
The first part was about mental health, and I never really realized how much mental health, like all that stress and anxiety and all that stuff, like how that affects me until I actually started learning about it and doing it with Ms. Friesen.
Being able to have more of that input, have more of a say, allowed realism in the show to shine through more as you had students giving more advice, and I think it made for a great production.